Are we
Sure.
recording, Mitzi?
All right,
Oh,
there we
never
go.
mind. There we are. Do we
All
want to
right.
wait a minute or so before we get started?
We can. It's just now 7:01, so we can definitely wait a little bit. We have a few more people that have popped on since I asked my question. I kind of hopped on a little bit early. So if you're
Hmm.
just joining us, I was curious to how many people signed up after the webinar last week. So put a one if you're brand new to PB and you just signed up after learning a little bit last week after our first webinar, or put a two if you're an existing user and you're just here because you want to learn a little bit more. I always love seeing who we've got with us. And so we got lots of twos coming in now. All the ones hopped on early. They're eager.
What was the two?
Two was if you're already a user but you want to learn more.
Oh,
And one
nice.
is you just signed up last week after our first webinar. And I see another Mitzi on here. Like there's not very many of us. So Mitzi
Kind
Heath,
of.
welcome,
I've
girl.
only known one other Mitzi other than you.
Yeah, there's not very
Now,
many
so
of
now
us
we know.
around here.
I know another Mitzi Heath. Now, what if she's in Texas? Where's everybody from?
Yeah, where are you calling in from? Oh, and she's a rock star too. We got those things in common. Look at that.
Okay, now I'm looking to see where Mitzi's from. Mitzi's from Kentucky.
Kentucky. All
Hey,
right.
I was in Kentucky not that long ago at Fort Campbell.
Yes, yes, you were.
Actually, I keep my little challenge. My little challenge. Actually, I'm wearing my airborne shirt from the 101st Airborne in Kentucky.
Nice. She said he's not that far from there. Awesome. Well, we are going to kick this off here. And I reminded Jake today that we did launch a little bit of a contest. So we'll give you details on that towards the end on how to submit if you followed our direction from last week's webinar and set up that recipe club. And we'll get into that later. But Jake, I'm going to let you kick it off and you just take it away and I'll do my best to keep you on track.
Remind me before you jump off. Remind me that I know we wanted to talk about spaces.
Yep. Want to talk about spaces?
What else did we want to like? Kind of general overview stuff,
Hey,
or
you know what? Actually, put some stuff in the chat. If you have questions, I'm going to be monitoring the chat. Another thing that I think is being that, they do a lot of parties and stuff. One thing I've been working on with their champions is zip codes. And I do know I was teaching them how to tag by zip code, how they can do that. But one thing a lot of people don't know about Jake is when you're in your contacts and you can do that advanced search feature with the little magnifying glass. I think
I'll
it'd
show
be
that.
cool for you to show that for sure.
I see tagging, keywords, everything, bundles and landing pages. I see emails a couple times. So I'll show you landing pages. I'll show you emails. We'll look at keywords.
Emails is a great one because I know a lot of them use another platform.
Mhm.
And I was helping a lot of people this week because they're not quite sure how to send the email. They don't understand it's done in the scheduler, just like messaging. So I think if we can, show where they create the content, and then how they send that would be awesome too.
Well, how about let's jump into tagging first, because that's, how do you manage your audience, your contacts? So I'll get into tagging first. And then I'm going to show you a keyword. We went over keywords a little bit last week with our recipe club example, but I'll just bring that up again and we'll create a VIP club. Actually, I'm gonna do something different. We'll do a Black Friday keyword because you should be starting to curate a list of the people that are going to care about your Black Friday deals. I know it's only August, but you don't want to wait till Black Friday to ask people if they care. If they care. Maybe August is a little early, but you know how to do it. So let me
And you
share
can
my
use that for other things too, right? Like just switch out some verbiage and it's kind of the same
100%.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, let me share my screen. And I'm gonna try, let's see if I wish I need to get a second monitor. That way I can always keep the chat up. You don't see the chat, right? You just see my screen.
I can see the chat. You may not can.
But you don't see my chat on my
Oh, I
screen.
do not see your chat. All we see
Okay,
is
okay, okay,
your,
cool.
yep, you're
Cool,
good.
cool, 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 cool. Okay, I'm in my test account. So let's first talk about tagging. Tagging is found in the audience section of Project Broadcast. And the thing to know about tags is that they're just a way to group contacts. And you can create as many tags as you want. There's no limit to the number of tags that you can create. So I'm just going to show you a couple ways that contacts get tagged, okay? The first thing you can do is just create a tag manually. So I can go to the tags area under audience and create a tag. And maybe I'm going to create one called unicorn lovers. I always talk about unicorns on my demos and I have no idea why. It's just, I've done that for longer than I can remember. So when I create a tag, I can just select people that I want to add to the tag. That's one way to group people. So now I've got a tag called unicorn lovers and it's got 3 contacts in it. Pretty straightforward to create just a manual tag. But let's talk about how contacts can get tagged automatically. There's a number of places in Project Broadcast, like keywords, for example. Let's go look at keywords. Keywords are found under the automation section in Project Broadcast. When you create a keyword, let's make sure I don't have a, oh good, I don't have a VIP one. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. We're going to talk about keywords and tagging at the same time. So I'm going to create a keyword and I'm going to call it VIP. A keyword is a word or phrase, like Black Friday is a phrase, right? There's more than one word that someone can text you and things can happen automatically in Project Broadcast. So I'm going to create a VIP keyword. So I went to let me do that one more time. Audience, keywords. I click the plus and I'm going to create a VIP keyword. When I create that keyword, there's a number of things that I can do. I can make a contact automatically join a campaign when they text me this keyword. That's what we did last week with the keyword recipe club. And it was adding people to a campaign called Recipe Club. And you can have a keyword add someone to multiple campaigns if you want. You could also have it remove people from campaigns. I've seen where someone may have a prospecting campaign in the system, and then they'll have a couple keywords that you can reply to kind of trigger a deeper conversation than just that initial prospecting campaign. And some people will remove the contact from their prospecting campaign if they reply with a different keyword because they don't need them to be in that prospecting campaign anymore. You can also automatically add someone to a space. We'll go over spaces in a little bit. You can automatically add a contact to a contest. So if you do vendor events, for example, you can have a keyword that is behind a QR code. So if someone were to scan this QR code for my VIP keyword, it will automatically put my project broadcast number in the to field of their text messaging app, and it will automatically put the VIP word in the message part of the messaging app. And all they have to do is click send, and that will trigger the keyword. Now, when someone triggers that keyword, it could also just add them to a contest. So just imagine, you create a keyword called like raffle, and you've got a QR code tied to it. Someone could scan it at a vendor event, and it could automatically add them to your raffle contest and project broadcast, so that later, when you're done with your vendor event, you could just pick a winner from the contest. Is there a way to connect the SMS URL to a Canva link? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. Um, Kelly, I don't know the answer to that one because I don't know what a Canva link is. So I might
I
get
don't
you
know
to.
if she's asking like, because you can put the QR code on a graphic, right? That
Yeah, I
people
mean
can
it's just
scan.
it's just an image, right? So you could download this image. Yeah, you can download this QR code and put it anywhere you want. Put it on a business card if you want. You could have a QR code called like, Biz card, and it creates a QR code, and you could download that and put it on a business card if you want to. The key thing on a keyword is also that it probably is going to reply. So if I have a keyword called VIP, at a minimum, I want to reply and say, something like, thanks so much for wanting to be part of my VIP club. You'll always be the first to know when unicorns go on sale. I don't know. I'm just making this up. And as we've already talked about, a message can have up to 1,024 characters. It can include emojis. It can include an image. You can use AI to make the image shorter or longer or summarize it. And then you can insert all types of dynamic content like the person's first name, or if you've got attachments uploaded in Project Broadcast, maybe you have a PDF you want to share with a link in your message. You can do all that, in your keyword as well. We typically call this area, this little box area in PB, or I say we, I always call this thing the message composer. Because once you learn the message composer in Project Broadcast and you learn it anywhere, it looks the same everywhere. So it's important to kind of come into some area of Project Broadcast and just play around with the message composer. You can see all the cool things that you can insert. I can even add my contact card. So for example, like if I share from my iPhone a contact to you, to your iPhone, you can, then you see it in your messages. You can just tap it and it adds it to the person's contacts in their phone, that's what this is. So you can insert your contact card, or you could insert, a dynamic field of like the person's first name if you want to, or any of these other custom fields that exist. You can insert a link to a landing page or a link to a trackable link. So tons of things you can insert into that message. But since we're talking about tagging, there's this feature on a keyword called auto tag. And all that means is that if someone were to text me the word VIP, Project Broadcast is going to automatically tag them as a VIP. So now I've got a growing list, right? Because that tag continues to grow as someone texts me, it'll auto tag them that VIP. So that's another way that people can get tagged. They can also get tagged, if I remember correctly, on landing pages. When you build landing pages, I think it also has the auto tag functionality. So there's a number of areas in PB that if someone interacts with that piece of content, like a landing page or your keyword, it will auto tag them. So that's tagging. Tagging is just a way to group contacts. So let's just talk about for a minute, well, what the heck do you do with tags? Well, when you're building like a broadcast in Project Broadcast, for example, if I go to the schedule and I want to send a message to everyone in a particular tag, I'm going to start my message by going to the schedule, clicking the plus, and then obviously you're going to write a better message than this, but there's my message. And I'm going to add contacts. I can always just onesie twosie add people, right? That's one way to add people to a message or a campaign or anywhere in Project Broadcast. But you'll typically see this little tag button here. This pulls up my tags and I can search for one of my tags. So like I've got this 25 underscore 6 new customers. There's 18 people in it. If I select that tag, I now only have a list of those 18 people. Now, again, I can still just onesie twosie select people from that tag if I want to, or I can just click add all and add everyone from that tag. Because, again, think of tags as a way to group contacts. And then in different places in Project Broadcast where you interact with adding contacts to something, you can use the tag feature. Now, Mitzi mentioned the advanced search, and this is just a little tip. Anywhere in Project Broadcast where you see a blue magnifying glass, that is clickable. So that is an advanced search that is behind that magnifying glass. It's on contacts, and I can search contacts with any one of these fields that exist on the contact. So I don't know if I've got data in here for it, but if I wanted all contacts with the birthday month of December, I can see that I have a contact with that birthday month. If I want to find all people with an area code of 214, right? I can find all the contacts that match that. So anywhere you see a blue magnifying glass, and they're all over Project Broadcast. If I'm in the schedule, boom, blue magnifying glass. If I'm in spaces, look at there, it's gray, it's not clickable, so there's no advanced search there. But anywhere you see a blue magnifying glass, like on campaigns, um, where else would there be one? I know it's anywhere you use contacts. I think that's the most important one is the contact one, because that's when you're creating a scheduled broadcast and you go to add contacts, you may say, man, I don't have them all tagged the way I want to add them, but maybe there's some piece of data, or maybe you want to use like has no reply sent. So, some people say, hey, I only want to send a message to people I've interacted with in the last, say, 30 days. Well, I can come in here and say, I want to find all contacts that have replied since when? Well, since July, whatever. So I'll just do July 28th. So any contact that I've interacted with since, meaning they've messaged me, I'm going to click search, and there's two people there. So I can even use that. So all that blue magnifying glasses is to show you that there's an advanced search capability where you can find contacts from any number of different angles. So that's tagging. Keywords, we kind of cheated and talked about it with our VIP program. Let's go back into that just to kind of reiterate what happens. So my VIP keyword right now, all it does is it responds with this message and it tags the person. This very, very simple approach to using a keyword is pretty common for a VIP club. Because usually with like a VIP club, you don't know what you're going to send them. You may send them a broadcast today, an email tomorrow. It's not like you have a campaign for all your VIPs. Now you might, but even like the Black Friday type example, if you want to start building a list of people that are interested in, say, your Black Friday sale, as we get, of course, not today, but as we get closer to Black Friday, you may want to create a keyword for Black Friday that people can text you and opt in to learn about the Black Friday deals as those come available. I'm going to show you this other small feature on keywords that I really love, and it's tiny, but it's one of my favorite features in Project Broadcast. So, whenever you're using Project Broadcast, your objective should always be when I send a message, whether it's one message or 1,000 messages, my objective should always be that the person who got a text from me feels like I typed it just for them. That's why I always recommend using like dynamic fields to insert their first name. Because if I got a message that said, "Hey Jake," well, I know they didn't write that for Bob, right? So using dynamic fields help with that. This reply delay, super tiny feature, also helps with that. If you texted me the word VIP and you got this response instantly, your brain would tell you, okay, there's no way Jake typed that. Like, I got it in a second. So I know that that's a system. So I love this feature because you can click on this little guy here, set a reply delay. It's a short message, so I'm going to set it for 1 minute. All this is telling the system is that when someone texts me the word VIP, wait 1 minute and then send this reply message. It helps create that illusion that you really type this message and send it to them personally. So this reply delay should typically relate to how long your keywords reply message is. Does that make sense? Hopefully, I'm hoping that makes sense. I can't see your faces. That's keywords. Let's dig into, let me go back to the chat. What else did we talk about? We said email,
Emails,
right?
spaces, whichever one you want to tackle first.
Yeah, let's talk about emails because I'm actually going to show you emails and landing pages at the same time. We're not at the same time, but close to each other. I'm going to start with landing pages. Landing pages are under the content area in Project Broadcast. And a landing page is like a little mini, well, it's not like, it is a mini website. So I'm going to just create a little mini website. We'll call it Jake's Corner. I'm just literally making this up. All right. So I'm just creating a landing page. So I'm just typing up some content for it. When you create the landing page, there's a number of things to pay attention to. Okay. Whenever you share a link on social media, and we've all done this, you get a link from the web somewhere and you go to share it on social media, it'll typically bring in like a short snippet of text, and typically it'll pick some random image on that website to show us the image preview, right? Well, in Project Broadcast, you get to control if this landing page is shared externally on, say, social media, how do you want that preview to show up? So the description is what will show up as the a text preview. And then you can add a social sharing image. And all this is that if it gets shared on social media, what is the preview image that you want to show up if someone shares this link? And it gives you a little insight into what this image size should be. So this is just kind of some meta information around the landing page. Whether or not you want it to auto tag, and auto tag just means when someone eventually visits my landing page, do you want it to automatically tag that person with Jake's Corner? And that's important because later you may say, hey, I want to send a message to all the people that have interacted with a particular landing page. So for like Tastefully Simple, I would create landing pages specifically for cool recipes because then you can share those landing pages in your messages. And I'll show you how to share it in your messages, but you can share it in your message. And then when someone visits your landing page, it'll automatically tag them, which gives you a great reason to follow up with someone later of, hey, I saw that you checked out my beer bread recipe page. What'd you think? Did you get a chance to make it yet?
So,
And
Jake,
once
real
you,
quick, for people who aren't
yeah.
super tech savvy, what is a landing page?
A landing page is a website, and I'm about to show you how to now make that. All we've done so far is we've just kind of stood it up. We've set it up. And now we're going to go design it. So when I click start designing, I get to pick from a template or I can start with a blank, a blank canvas, so to speak. Is there any food related ones in here? I can't remember. Travel, winter. No, actually. So we're gonna just pick the, I don't know, I'm randomly picking something here. We're gonna pick the school routine one. So this is just giving me a starting point. It's already got a design. So I can come in here and, change this image to something like maybe I like this design, but I want to use it for a recipe. Maybe this is the picture of the final dish and this is ingredient one that I need. So with our landing page builder, you have this drag and drop area where I can bring text in if I want to and add text. I can bring an image in. Well, put it in the right place. Bring an image in. Oh, I did text again, didn't I? Image. I can bring an image in and then upload an image if I want to upload an image. I can even use AI to generate the image for me. Like maybe I want a uh, loaf of beer bread sitting on a white plate. I have no idea what this is going to generate. We're literally doing this on the fly. So this tool will actually automatically generate using AI graphics for you that you could potentially uh, use. We'll use, sure. Yes, I want it to be realistic.
And you know what's really cool about these landing pages? They could create one that is for savory meals or sweets
Yes,
or
anything.
healthy. And you can, give people the option like, hey, let me know. Do you want me to send you, do you like more savory food or sweet food? And there's so many different things you can do with this.
I'm kind of curious what this is going to produce. So whatever. I can use, we'll use this one. Your prompts can be much better than mine. So there's my AI generated bread image that we just created and inserted into our landing page. Our beautiful loaf of beer bread. I'm assuming that's a glass of beer right there, actually. So you can use all these drag and drop tools to design your landing page. And then ultimately, you're going to save it, right? You're going to save the landing page. Well, when you do that, it's a website. I can now share, this website a couple of ways. I can have people get to it from a QR code. I can share this link directly on external, sites like Facebook or Instagram. So I'm just going to open it in a new tab just to show you what it looks like. So there's that text we added, right? And there's the beer bread image we generated. Obviously, we didn't modify anything else, but it's a website. A landing page is a website. And when your landing page gets viewed, look at my views down here. My views now say one. Now it's going to say guest because I did not send a link specific to a contact. I just used the generic link and shared that. Obviously, I clicked it in my browser so you can see it, but that's if someone just generically visits that landing page. Now, when you're crafting messages, and I'm just going to go back to the schedule to show you this. Um, Remember, we talked about the message composer. I'm just going to use the message composer in the schedule message area. Anywhere you're crafting a message, right, you can insert dynamic content like the first name of the contact, right? But I can also insert a landing page. I can insert a link to Jake's Corner in this message, and it's going to generate a specific link for every So if I sent this to say these two contacts, I'm just going to go ahead and save this. I'm not going to really send this message, but I just want to save it. So when it sends this message on August 21st at 7:24 p.m., it's going to send two messages. One's going to be to Mitzi. It's going to insert her first name. It's going to generate a link for that landing page explicitly for Mitzi. And it's going to send a message to Jake. And it's going to generate a link explicitly for Jake for that landing page. If Mitzi views that landing page because she clicks on her link, or Jake views the landing page because he clicks on the link, that's going to show up as a view on the landing page. It's going to tell you exactly that Mitzi viewed it, what time she viewed it. If she viewed it 14 times, it's going to show her 14 times having viewed that landing page. So landing pages are super valuable. And you can think about, again, a landing page is just a mini single page website, and people use it for recipes, before and afters. I've seen people just create a landing page just for the opportunity. I've seen people create a landing page just about them. Like it'll have their headshot and all the different ways that you can connect with them. And they'll, send that landing page to people so that they can know, how to contact them, whether it be email or text or Insta, kind of like you would in I forget what it's called now. What's the thing called in Instagram where you why is my brain like turned off? Link tree. Whoo, geez. Some people will create it like would treat it like a link tree. They'll create a landing page and treat it almost as they would
Your link
treat
in bio.
like a link in bio. Exactly. So landing pages can be they're used heavily in project broadcast. And the great thing about landing pages, in my opinion, is that if you have, let me go back there to our landing page. If you have auto tag turned on, if Mitzi goes to my landing page, it's going to tag her Jake's Corner, and I'm going to have my view count go up. Later, I can go back and say, hey, I want to send a message to everyone that viewed my beer bread recipe landing page because I want to send them some type of follow up or some type of promotion or send them a message to just engage with them. So that's where landing pages can be very powerful. Now, emails are similar to landing pages because you create them in kind of the same way. So let's create a unicorn BOGO sale. OMG, you get two for whatever. I'm just making this up. So I'm going to create my email, and it's got some similar concepts to a landing page. You name it. What do you want the reply email to? If you don't set a reply, it's going to be like a no reply. But in Project Broadcast, you can actually set the reply to so that if someone replies to this email, even though I'm sending it from Project Broadcast, I can let that email have a reply to so that I actually get the responses to my jake at projectbroadcast.com email address. There's my subject. Preview text is kind of similar to that description on the landing page. Most email clients, and when I say email clients, I mean like Gmail, Hotmail, Apple Mail, whatever. A lot of them will preview an email for people. Now, if it can, it's going to show a piece of text there, but it's just kind of pulling things out of the email. But in Project Broadcast, you can decide what you want that preview text to be. So I may say here, wanted, and this may not be the same content that's actually in your email. Make sure you saw the BOGO for unicorns tomorrow. And I can now start designing it. The designer is very similar to the designer for landing pages. So if I'm doing a flash sale, oh, there we go, shoes flash sale. We'll just pick on that one. So these are just templates. Again, you can start from complete scratch if you want to. But this is a landing page, kind of, but it ends up getting sent as an email. But I can come here, same thing. I can add text. I can even insert, and you can do this on landing pages as well, but I can even insert, like on this piece of text, I can say, hey, and I'm going to insert the first name of the contact. So when it sends them this email, it's literally going to say, "Hey Jake, hey Mitzi." So you can even personalize the email. Now, obviously, you would add more content here, images, change the copy to make it your email. But again, same thing. When you get done, you're eventually going to save the email template, and I can preview this email as one of my contacts if I want to. I'll say, "Hey, I want to preview this as Jake," or maybe it was previewed as Mitzi. And I should see that it inserts her name there, and it did, right? And if I take that away, the word Mitzi is not there anymore. So it lets me preview it. Now, when you create an email template, which is what this isn't sending it. This is you just designing your email template, okay?
Jake, before we
How
move
many
on from
credits are
oh yeah, I was going to cover a
yes.
couple things before we moved on. So
Okay. So go ahead.
I was going to tell them, so this is what is so cool. I was talking to a leader the other day, and she spends roughly $600 a year, I think, to send emails.
Hmm.
With Project Broadcast, you can send 20 emails for one credit. That was going to take her cost down to about $8 a month in sending emails. So it's a huge savings, and there's so much functionality, and it's all in one app, right? You have everything in one place for all your contacts. So I love that.
Correct. Yeah, one of the cool things about PB is we talked a little bit about campaigns last week. So in Project Broadcast, you can send text messages, you can send emails, and you can send voicemail drops. Now, as you kind of progress in your ability in Project Broadcast, you're going to start thinking about things like, hey, I'm going to create a prospecting campaign, and I'm not just going to text people. I want to send them a text on day one, an email on day three, a voicemail drop on day seven, another text on day 10. So you can send multiple channels of information even within one campaign. So instead of trying to use multiple tools, one's doing texting, one's doing voice, one's doing email, you can do all of that within one application with Project Broadcast. Now, this email template, we haven't sent anything. All we've done is design our email. Now, to send an email, and you see this big banner at the top, so I'll make sure you guys see this, you have to go complete this can spam compliance. And that is a rule in the email industry that when you send an email, you have to have an address of the sender, opt out, all those things in your email. This is just you filling out that information um, so that that can get inserted into it gets inserted to the bottom of all emails. And if you want to review about can spam, we even give you a link directly to the FTC to go learn more about can spam rules. But you fill out this information, you check that you do understand can spam rules, and you save it. That's what kind of unlocks your ability to send an email. Now, once you've got your template done, let's talk about how you send an email. You go to the schedule. I want to add a new item. Oh, let me delete that one we did a minute ago. Otherwise, that's going to send me and Mitzi some weird message tomorrow. So we're gonna go to the schedule. We click plus. In the message composer, we don't want to type a message. We want to click the plus, and we want to select an email. So we're going to go click on emails, and we're going to click our unicorn BOGO email that we just created. So there's our email. And now all I do is add my contacts. So I'll pick me and Mitzi again, or you can use tags, or you can use the advanced search. So those are the people. I'm sending two emails, and it's going to use zero point 0.1 credits. So that's where Mitzi is telling you can send 20 emails for 1 credit. So again, if you're on the starter plan, just the starter plan, and if I'm doing the math correctly, you can send 10,000 emails just on the starter plan, right? Because you get 500 credits. 20 emails per credit, that's 10,000 emails. I'm going to select a date for it. I'll just pick something in the future again so we don't send this email. And I'm going to save it. So then it shows me that I've got an item on my calendar, on my schedule for August 22nd. It's going to send the Unicorn BOGO email. It's going to send it to Mitzi, and it's going to send it to Jake. It's going to process in about a minute. It's going to take zero point 0.1 credits, and that's when it's going to actually send that email. And again, it's not sent yet, so I can still come in here and edit what I want to send, the contacts that I want it to go to, or any of the other information that's on here. That's one way to send an email. I'm going to delete that.
Jake, on the template, somebody asked if they could upload their own templates. Do you have some feedback on that?
There's there is no importing, but what you could do, I've seen people do this. They'll create their own um, kind of template that they use over and over again. Like, let's say you've got like a flash sale and you want it to always look the same from a branding perspective. I've seen some people, they'll create a template where they literally name it like flash sale template, and it'll have like dummy graphics in it. And then every time they have a new flash sale, they don't just start from scratch again. They go into their flash sale template, click these three dots at the top, and they say clone email. So now I've got a clone of it, and now I'll go modify this particular email for this specific flash sale. But I can build like some, we'll call them branding templates that always look the same.
And I will tell you, if you're a little more tech savvy, you can use HTML.
Yes, you can.
I already have some people that already use HTML, and we tested it and it works beautifully in our builder. I don't know if Canva, like if you already have stuff in Canva, if it converts it to HTML, you're literally copy and pasting the coding from
Oh, I
that
didn't think
to our
about that. Yeah, you
system.
might be able to do that. That's
Yeah.
true. Because there is an HTML block when you're designing. I'll go into one of we'll just create a dummy one real quick.
And someone said, so we can't have our tastefully simple logo. So I'm not sure what she
Yeah,
means.
you could.
Yeah, you just input, I mean, you can, it'll be an image that you then need to
Yeah.
import
Like
the.
if I start with a blank template right here, let's just start with a blank one. I'm gonna pull an image in here. Let's design a project broadcast one. And I'm gonna upload an image. I'm pretty sure I've got a logo somewhere on, actually, I think it's called horizontal. There we go. Project broadcast horizontal logo. Boom. There's my project broadcast logo. And I'm gonna pull maybe I want a divider. I don't know. Yeah, something cool. And I'm gonna go to body, and we're gonna change the background color because gray is not Project Broadcast is back. We'll pick like white. Is that white? Yes. Okay, we're getting there. We'll go to another block. I'm gonna add a little content here, and this you'll learn how to kind of play with this. And this is one of those tools that it can be sophisticated for sure, but you'll want to come and start playing with it. So I'm going to change the background color here, and I used to have a color saved in here. That was our actual color, but and then maybe for that area, I'm going to pull some text in. OMG. I'm going to insert their first name. We are building a email template from scratch. I'll pull another image in here. So let's just say I've built this up, right? Again, I'm doing this on the fly, but if you take the time to build a really pretty, I'm going to call it template for just lack of a better word, right? So let's rename that because no one is going to remember what that is. We'll just call this Jake's template. You might decide to like spend the time and energy to build one template that just looks beautiful, that's your branding, your logo. Maybe it's got a footer with like your Facebook and Instagram, links to come, follow you on social. And you're like, man, I don't want to have to recreate that every single time. So, you'll come in here and say, okay, this is my template. So now I'm going to clone it. And now on the clone one, that's going to be the actual email I'm going to send out. And this
So
will
the
be my
template you won't ever touch or change unless you're wanting to
exactly.
add
So
the
this is going to
generic.
be my August promo email, right? So now my August promo email, I'll edit it because I don't want to mess with my template because that's kind of my clean version, right? So that's super common. It's a little tip.
Yep. And Sue, you just upload the image right there in the email designer. There's an upload button.
Yeah, yeah. When you pull a I'll go back into it real quick. When you go into the designer, if I drag an image, right, it's just an empty image, and when I click on that image, I can either generate an image, I can upload an image, I can use stock photos as well. I didn't mention that. There's a stock photo library that you have access to. So if I wanted, a dog, I don't know, dog on the beach. Is there, dude, look at that. I just crushed that. Uh, oh, he's cool looking. So you got stock photos you can use. You can upload an image. That's all a part of the builder, and that same concept exists in the landing page as well. So you use the builder under email templates in the content area to create your emails, and then you would schedule those emails out in the schedule. Or you might also decide to go in a campaign. Let's say you have a campaign, and I mentioned this a moment ago. If you've got a campaign that you create, one message, maybe the day one message, we'll call this message one, and we'll send that 1 day delay. We'll just pick a time, like whatever, 4:43 p.m. I never use exact times if I didn't give you guys this. If I didn't give you that tip, never send a message at an exact time, like 4:15, 4:30. Always pick some random time because it actually makes it feel more real. So on this message, I'm going to send a text message. That's my first message in my drip. Well, maybe I want the second message to be an email. So I'm going to come in here and send message two, and I'm going to select email, and we'll pick just one of these. That'll go out on day three, and we want that to go at 10:42 a.m. So you can see in a single drip, we can have an email that goes out. We can, a text that goes out. We can have an email that goes out. We can have a voicemail drop. So you can send emails that way as well. So that's landing pages and emails. Let's see. Oh, let me show you something else. So you might be thinking, holy smokes, the landing page builder and the email builder looks very intimidating, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It is somewhat of an advanced feature. But if someone in the community, the Tastefully Simple community, who is a baller at creating landing pages or an email template for you, they can use a feature we have called bundles. So a bundle, I'm going to go create a bundle and I'm going to call it the TS brand template library. So let's say I'm a complete, badass when I want to create templates. When you create a bundle can have campaigns. Look at that, emails. So someone could literally create a beautiful, tastefully simple, branded email template and add it to this bundle. They could do the same thing with a landing page. They can add message templates and keywords and voice drops. And ultimately, so let's add an email to this one. I think that was our template, right? And we'll add two. I'll add two templates to it. And then we created some landing pages too, didn't we? So let's just pretend that these are my brand templates. So I added two email templates, two landing page templates, but ultimately you get this little code. I can give this code to any other Project Broadcast user. They will take that code, they will go to their bundles area, they will click, not the plus, sorry, they will click the three dots, click import bundle, put that code into the import bundle, and it will say, hey, there's two emails in this bundle and two landing pages. Do you want to import that? And when they click that import, it is going to create an exact copy of those two email templates and those two landing page templates into that person's Project Broadcast account. Now they can still modify it once they import it, but bundles are a way for you to create content that you know works and then share that with your community. So for Tastefully Simple, for example, it would be awesome if someone's like, dude, landing pages look simple to me. I'm a Canva nerd. I could create a landing page that's branded Tastefully Simple, share it with the community, do the same thing with email, and you've just helped the entire Tastefully Simple community have awesome branded content to use in their project broadcasts. And you create as many bundles as you want, and then you can share that bundle code, and it can be imported as many times as people want to import it. So bundles are a great way for you to create content and then share that content with the entire community. Now, we don't create content, right? We're software nerds, not tastefully simple branding nerds. So we create the tools for you guys to create the branding, but then if you're awesome at it, then you can share it with other folks. And don't just think about emails and landing pages. Let's just pretend you create a prospecting campaign or a customer follow-up campaign, and you're like, dude, this campaign's crushing it. Like maybe you create awesome host coaching. You could create, a host coaching campaign that you share via a bundle. Um, and I'm assuming you guys use the same term, host coaching. I think we had this conversation last time. You're, I use the word party. Every company calls it something different. I think in Tastefully Simple, you guys said it's called a tasting experience. So if you create a campaign that coaches a host leading up to a tasting experience, and it's a really good campaign, it really gets the host prepared, and ends up in an awesome tasting experience, put that in a bundle and then share it with your community because then they could also have awesome coaching for their tasting experiences.
That
Uh,
leads me into spaces because I think that's a great place for teams to communicate,
yep.
and share information there as well.
Awesome. So I'm gonna go show you. We already have a space. I'm actually in the space. So in our Project Broadcast Success account, which Mitzi manages, there's a number of spaces we create for the different partners that we have. And think of a space kind of like a Facebook group. It's a place for you to collaborate with other Project Broadcast users. So I am in this Tastefully Simple champion space. And just so that you see this, to create a space, it's very simple. I'm going to create a space and we're going to call it Voltron fans. If you don't know what Voltron is, he's an 80s awesome robot cartoon. Deal with it. We love Voltron. So when you create a space, you can add your contacts to it. I'm not going to add anyone right now. Oh, I guess I have to add someone. So this is just an empty space, but I'm going to actually go into a real live working space to show you how cool a space is. A space has a feed that tells you all the things that are happening. Margaret Thompson asked a question 7 days ago, and Mitzi's been sharing a bunch of links, it looks like. Heidi answered a question 20 days ago. So you got a feed, you have a chat area. Now, this is like old school chat room chat. It's a single chat room where all of the members of the space can conversate with each other. So, just for fun, I'm going to say, hey, champions, I'm doing a demo to the TS crew right now. So I just added, a message in that space. So this is just a place for us to chat, and then it tells us, who's posting what. You can also share files. Now, Mitzi does this a lot in this group. If something is worthy of sharing, you ever been in like uh, this happens a lot to me. For example, in my personal text, I'm like, dang it, someone sent me that image. I don't remember where it is, and then I got to go to that weird space, and I always forget how to get to it to look at all the images in the chat thread and try to find the graphic, and it's not searchable. So this is just a place for you to literally share files. It can be PDFs. You can see this is a PDF. It can be images. It can be an Excel document, um, and then they're searchable. And if Mitzi wanted to, she could even create folders here and organize, these. Maybe there's a folder you want to do for August promo graphics, or maybe there's one for onboarding documents or something. And you can create folders and organize that content. When you look at a file, it gives you the details of the file, and you can download it up here in the top right. And I can see that it's been downloaded 2 times. So that's files. Links is very similar. So not that indifferent than your regular texting application. Like, dang it, Mitzi sent me that link to that car wash place and I cannot find it. So I go to that weird area in my chat and then I can't search that area. Well, this is a very specific place to create and share links, and those links, are always here, always persistent. I could even come in here as a member of this space and say, "Ooh, this one's really important to me. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to star it, and maybe this one is important to me, so I'm going to star it." And then when I'm looking at all these links that Mitzi has shared, I could come in here and say, "Well, I only want to look at the ones that I favorited," right? So I can filter it. I can search. I'm like, man, she's posted something about boot camp one day. Oh, there's the PB boot camp link. So it's searchable, filterable, favorite, and then we have a full Q&A module. This is another thing that drives me bonkers sometimes about social media. You'll see a post that's a question, people answer it, and then I can't find the dadgum thing later. This is a place that is dedicated for you to create questions, right? Someone can ask this question. Margaret asked, someone asked if the 500 credits was only for new signups. I'm assuming the answer is yes. And she added some more color here. Mitzi came in here and answered the question. And then, well, she answered the question twice. So, if Margaret wanted to, let's pretend there are a bunch of answers to this question. Because maybe for you in your space, someone asks a question like, hey, can someone explain the comp plan to me? Whatever. And you get 15 different answers. Well, the person that asked the question, in this case, Margaret, can actually come in here, and I can't do this, but she can mark one of these answers as the best answer. And that will always show up at the top of all the answers, even if there's other answers that have been asked, in a chronological order. Uh, all that to say, it's a way for you to have a true area to do Q&A. Now, maybe you don't want this many features in your space. Maybe you just want it as a place to share files and links. If it's your space, there's a settings area. That's where this cog little gear icon is. You can come in here and turn off. Um, Let me go. Actually, I don't know if it's going to let me because I didn't create this space. There's all the members. Yeah, it's not going to let me. Mitzi can, but I can't. There's another area in here for modules, and you can say which modules you want turned on. Actually, we'll do it in the one that I created. So here's my space that I created just a minute ago. If
You
I
can
go
also,
in
oh,
here,
you have it. Okay.
now I can see modules, and I can say, well, I only want, for example, in chat, maybe you want a chat, but you really want it as just a way to like let everyone in your space know something, but you don't really want them to be able to respond. You're going to use it almost like a billboard. Well, maybe I go to my modules area and say, hey, for chat, I only want admins to be able to post in it. So now if I were to put something in my space, no one can really reply to it because only the admins can post in the chat. So you have that level of granularity for each of your modules. And you may even decide, I don't even want chat. I'm turning chat off. I don't want chat to show up. And look, chat no longer shows up in my space. So you can customize the space to kind of your liking in terms of who can contribute and what modules you want enabled. And we've been using spaces for we call it our championship work, which is what Mitzi kind of runs for us across multiple companies. So we've been using spaces pretty heavily for a number of months, and she has her chat files, links, and QA to work with everyone. Oh, Kelly, see, is Kelly in here, or did she just? I think
I
hopefully she's
think
on.
she's on the Zoom. There
Okay,
she
okay. I was like, wow, we had someone respond in the space.
is.
That was awesome. So that's spaces. Let's see. I know we
Someone
have
asked, how did they become a part of a space?
a couple of ways. If they are in your project broadcast contact list, you can go to your cog, go to members. Actually, I don't own this space, so I got to do this in the one that I own. If I go into the one that I own and go to members, I can click the plus and add my contacts to the space. That's one way of doing it. Another way that people add people to spaces is they'll use a keyword. They'll create a keyword. I'm going to create mine. Remember, I created that Voltron space. I'm going to create a whatever Voltron space keyword. And there's that join campaigns, leave campaigns, and looky there, join spaces. So I can say if someone texts me the Voltron space and they're a Project Broadcast user, I want to add them to my Voltron fan space. That's another way of doing it. Now, if someone texts you in this case, Voltron Space, and they are not a Project Broadcast user, because this is only for Project Broadcast users, they actually get a response from the system that says, hey, looks like you're trying to join Jake's Voltron fan space. Click this link to create a Project Broadcast account and join the space. So you can do it that way. Um, so keyword can add someone to a space. Obviously, you can add them manually. I thought there was another place. Where is the other place? I'm trying to remember. I think there's another place that adds can add people to spaces.
Can a campaign? I don't know.
No, a campaign can apply a keyword. Maybe I'm missing. Oh, it
Yeah.
can. You're right. I'm sorry. Oh wait, no, that sorry. So I was thinking of something incorrectly. You can also use campaigns in a space, meaning, let's say you wanted to create like a
Hmm.
team member onboarding campaign and you're going to invite everyone to your space. Well, you can add a space to a campaign, and instead of that campaign sending those messages to the recipients, it will add the messages to the chat area in the space for you. And there's a lot of cool ways. Think of it like in Facebook. You know, you can schedule a post in Facebook. It's kind of like that, right? Where you can create a campaign, add a space to it, and now the campaign will push those messages into the space for you based on how the campaign's configured.
Love it. I know we're getting up on time, Jake, so I don't know if there's
Yes.
anything else you wanted to talk about, but I did want to cover a couple things that I've gotten questions about. Um, One, just kind of going over again for people who maybe haven't downloaded PB yet, where they connect that in Tastefully Simple. And then I've gotten some questions about what the TCR is and why they have to pay $20 when they sign up for it.
Oh, yeah, I can go over that. So the TCR, which literally stands for the Campaign Registry, it's a third-party compliance body that exists in the texting ecosystem. Whether you use Project Broadcast or any platform like Project Broadcast, you have to register with the TCR. Now, we take you through that process. Um, there are fees associated with it. It's actually more than $20 to register you with the TCR. We charge a one-time $20 fee for you to submit that registration. Once you submit that registration, it has to be approved by the TCR and the carriers. That's why it takes a couple of business days, which is frankly way better than it used to be. There was a time when it took 14 business days to get approved by the TCR, and now it's one, two, maybe 3 business days. But yeah, it's a compliance thing that you have to complete, kind of like the can spam compliance, where we have you fill out that info and you confirm that you've read the can spam compliance on the FTC's website. The TCR is similar in that it's a compliance entity that you have to register with, and there's fees associated with registering. and that's why it's 20 bucks. And it's a one-time $20 fee that you get charged when you submit your TCR information.
Awesome.
I don't know if I missed, I know we are coming up on time. Did I miss any of the topics that people wanted us to chat about? We did spaces, landing pages, keyword, tags.
We covered a lot, and I know it overwhelms some people. And I saw somebody say it in the chat, and I've heard you say it a million times, Jake. Don't let this get overwhelming to you. The Project Broadcast, I mean, it has evolved immensely since 2000 or 2017. So, pick one or two things, especially if you're brand new, and focus on that. Don't stress or worry about learning it all at one time.
Yeah, let me just, yeah, for sure. Well, I think it's pretty common. I mean, it's pretty common when we do this is super common. If you're like, holy crap, he just showed me like 5% of it and I'm already overwhelmed. It's because Project Broadcast can do a lot, right? It really can do a lot. There are two phenomenal resources that you need to pay attention to. One is training.projectbroadcast.com. It's an entire training website. In fact, I'm going to share my screen real quick again and show you this. Share. What are you doing? So I'm going to go to training.projectbroadcast.com. It's its own site. You do have to create an account here, but it's free. It doesn't cost anything for you to create an account here. But I'm just going to go to the all courses area and show you there are 13 pages of training modules on this website. And some of them have this little earn X credits on it. When you complete this training, we give you credits. We literally pay you to learn about Project Broadcast. So if you haven't done training yet, Quick Start's the first one you do. You're going to learn about broadcast hours, contacts, scheduling a broadcast. The real kind of core features of PB is in Quick Start, and we give you 100 credits for completing it. But if you're like, dude, I have no idea what a dynamic field is, guess what? I'm going to search for dynamic field. There's an entire training just on dynamic fields. Now, some of the training on here is feature based, like dynamic fields. Well, that's feature based, right? That's a feature of Project Broadcast. But there's also really cool training in here. Like there's a great training on rocking your next vendor event. So this goes through how you would use keywords, configurable forms, QR codes to contest to put together an entire vendor event strategy. So there are strategy trainings and there are feature based trainings. The other thing that I would tell you is if you go on YouTube, there's a channel for Project Broadcast. We have our own YouTube channel. And on that YouTube channel, there's a playlist called Boot Camp. And if
And
you're
I
a
did just
visual,
drop that in the chat.
oh, perfect. Yeah, if you're a visual learner, I think there's 31 or 32 some odd videos. Each video's 5 or so minutes that goes through every feature. Like it will teach you how to do the different campaign types, how to use keywords, how to do contests. Each video is very specific about a specific feature that it will teach you. So there's a massive, massive amount of training. And like Mitzi said, just pick the one thing. If you want to learn about prospecting, customer follow up, landing pages, if it's feature based, just pick one thing and go learn that thing and put that thing into place for your business. And then once you get that thing implemented, then go to the next thing. Don't try to do 10 things at one time because that typically will not lead to the best result.
Yeah. Oh, that was so great, Jake. I'm excited that we recorded this and we're going to get it out. For those of you that got your recipe club set up, when you get the email tomorrow of the recording, I'm going to have you just respond back to that with a screenshot of your recipe club showing how many people have joined the campaign. That's how we're going to just use it. And I'll let you know if you had the most people join. And also on that quick start, you had 7 days to do that. If you, for some reason, just didn't realize that was there or didn't have time, message me back. And after you complete it, if it's been past the 7 days, I'll hook you up. I'll give you those 100 credits. So go in there and complete. I didn't even ask Jake for permission on that. So
Ah,
hopefully,
it's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine. I didn't hear you. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. Don't tell Jake, okay? But just email me back because I do. That quick start is amazing, guys, and it's a great way to get started. And one thing is for sure, you will not break Project Broadcast. So get in there, click buttons, move around, play with things, send yourself text, and just play
Oh,
with
that's
it.
another real quick. That's a pro tip.
Mhm.
Add yourself as a contact in your Project Broadcast account. Your
Yes.
like your own personal cell phone number. Add yourself as a contact because when you create content, Great campaigns, great keywords. You can test them with your real phone number.
It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Well, we did great on time. So we appreciate y'all sticking with us for a whole hour. You guys did awesome. I will get the recording out to y'all tomorrow. If you have any questions, please email me back. Let me know. Make sure you check out all the trainings. Make sure to tell your friends, share this with your teams. Everyone can benefit from Project Broadcast. So y'all have a great night and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.